So Terrence Howard, he was going somewhere with it. He getting closer, but he doesn't. Most people don't know that are physical people that are so physical. They don't realize that spiritual people already know about sacred geometry, and these various dimensions of shapes, right? So what you need to understand is that Enoch or Metatron is actually the one that teaches you about sacred geometry. So Enoch or Metatron is the angel of thought and esoteric wisdom, known as the scribe or the recording angel, the chancellor of heaven, right? He supervises the archives of the Akashic records where the thoughts and deeds are recorded. He assists you in better communication with the Most High by expanding our minds to receive divine guidance. The name Metatron, like Sandalphon, is a suffix. When you talk about on is a suffix instead of el, meaning that he originated as a human being, just like Yeshua, right? And prior to ascending, his human vessel. So prior to becoming an archangel, he was a human named Enoch. And in Genesis chapter 5 and 24, and Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Or, pretty much he had reached a state where he transcended the physical body. So as Sandalphon resides over the exits of the tree of life, and I'm going to show y'all the tree of life in a second, Metatron resides over the entrance to the tree of life. That's right, the tree of knowledge of good and evil and all that shit was bullshit. The snake in the garden, that was a real story, but it wasn't because of a tree. So the name meta means beyond or after, like metaphysics, beyond physics or physical nature, spiritual or abstract. The second part of his name is tron, meaning a device, tool, instrument found in the words electron or neutron, right? Also, tron is related to throne. So Metatron is a tool to go beyond the physical, a tool of transcendence. So Metatron carries the blueprint to all creation within Metatron's cube. So Metatron's cube is a Megatron, or a large device that is a secret key to unlocking the sacred geometry of the multidimensional universe. So Metatron's cube is comprised of 13 circles with lines connecting to each center point of the circles. If you see that, that's 13 circles with the lines connected to the center. So we know the zodiac not only deals with the spiritual and physical spaces, right? We also understand that the number 13 it deals with how many you got 12 zodiac signs. The 13th is Ophiuchus that they don't tell you about, which is the spine. Then you got Jesus and the 13th disciples, which also connect to the zodiac and everything else. You have the 12 cranial nerves in your body as well. So you're a mini cosmos, right? We talk about this all the time. So you're talking about the Metatron is like the blueprint. He carries the blueprint. Or in other words, he is the mathematical geometry which emanates the causes of causes from the seed of life, the flower of life, to the tree of life. So the archangels or the elders or the Elhoim in pure energy form, they perform the original or primary creation. You're talking about with the Most High and the Elohim. So you got to understand it in this sense. In the beginning, there was a dot, or you're talking about a sphere, or you're talking about a spiral. You're talking about like you feel what I'm saying? The when all the etheric gases and different things aggregate to a central point. So that dot becomes a line, or becomes a wave, we should say. And that wave becomes a wall, or becomes a square. And you're not talking about a physical square, you're talking about a square in the spiritual space. So the square in the spiritual space becomes more of like a curved type of, like a bubble, almost like a curved square. So the first dot, so we're talking about the atoms too, but I'm gonna get there. So the first dot split like a daughter cell into two, like Vesica Pisces, right? Like you see here. And so the second dot formed a circle by completing a cycle around itself. So it creates a circle, right? You understand what I'm saying? So now you have now you have the Vesica Pisces, and then from the Vesica Pisces you have it's constantly creating, cycles around itself where it is expanding. Now let me continue. So as a circle begins to spin, a circle is 360 degrees. As it spins it upon itself, it creates another circle of 360 degrees. And also, so you have a 360 degrees of a square and 360 degrees of a circle. So you have 360 degrees of physical space and 360 degrees of spiritual space. So the circle was turned inside out and placed within the confines of the square, right? And this is basically saying that now that the circle has once you reach a certain state over here, which is like D, I don't remember which one it is, but anyways, you place the circle in the square, and the square, the energy that is confined in the square tries to escape by pushing out all four directions. So this is why you have four directions of the square, right? And you understand that as it tries to push out directions, it creates a friction or a heat, and this heat, to the degree, can no longer withstand the confines of the square. So this heat from the circle can no longer uh, stay within the square. And so it has to explode. And as it explodes, it creates an enormous force that manifests physical space of universes, stars, galaxies, and planets and things like that. So the building block or to the physical realm, or you're talking about the five geometric three-dimensional shapes, which is what they call the platonic solids, is all contained within inside of Metatron's cube. If you see all the way over here to the bottom right, so as you see, you can see it goes from this dot to this Vesica Pisces to the equilateral triangle to the pentagon to the pentagram to, I don't know what that says. Then the 7 days of creation, then the seed of life, then the tree of life, then the egg of life, then the flower of life, then the fruit of life. And all this is contained in Metatron's cube. So this is talking about the Metatron being the blueprint, or teaching you the blueprint behind creation, and in the understanding of how spheres of energy and using 360 degrees of square and circle, and the square and the circle is really the same thing in the spiritual realm, but it's how it's perceived and how it's utilized in terms of, I'm not perfect on the geometric shapes. I'm still learning some more, but if you want to screenshot that and make sure you can, properly understand it and start to understand geometric shapes as well. But now, when you're talking about the Sephiroth, or you're talking about the Kabbalah tree of life, right? The tree of life is contained within Metatron's cube, as you see right there. So that being said, uh, inside of the Metatron's cube is the Sanctum Sanctorum, or the Holy of Holies, right? So these 11 spheres of the tree of life, which you've heard about in many different texts and different things like that, and you got to understand the tree of life has 10 emanations and one hidden emanation. So through the Most High, the infinite eternal reveals himself and continues to create both physical and metaphysical realms. So the emanation of the creator's will, or wills, or spheres, are Malikuth, kingship; Yesod, foundation; Had, splendor; Neset, eternity; Teferet, beauty; Gravaya, severity; Chesed, kindness; Bina, understanding; Chakma, wisdom; Keter, crown; and Dayat, which is knowledge, or the hidden. And so this is the hidden mystical Sephiroth that is united. Everything is one. So you understand that these are the secrets of the Most High. When you're talking about sacred geometry, you're talking about Enoch bringing this sacred geometry inside of Metatron's cube, and understanding that Enoch was the keeper of, keeper of your blueprint of Metatron's cube and all of the wisdom when it comes to the understanding of how to reach the higher spiritual planes. And this wisdom of this sacred geometry will let you be able to expand your awareness beyond the physical. And that's what it's for. So this is Enoch's job. This is what Enoch does. So, I will probably be doing more videos on these different archangels, but I will probably do a part 2 to Enoch, because Enoch also had the book of Enoch. And the book of Enoch is so important because he explains a lot of different things revolving around creation in many different places that was beyond the means of the ice walls and different things like that. So I'm going to get into that next time.